Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:45 p.m. It is 6:45 in the Canary Islands, of course, and the 24th of August. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. The month of August flying by, absolutely flying by, almost hitting September. So 7 days to go until we hit that date. Now, looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the Spanish press today. Also some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers, and into the chat section as usual to see what's happening among the chat viewers this evening in the live stream. So if you are watching this evening, say hello in the live stream. Now we'll get straight into the news, and with a lot of the fires that have been creating havoc around Spain in recent times now seemingly under control, the fire causes and what went wrong and why were there such bad fires in Spain are now starting to hit the headlines, and the blame game has started, as we can see here. From sufficient resources to chaos, firefighting failures in Castilla y León and Galicia, Spain's worst wildfire crisis in decades, has exposed severe shortcomings in regional firefighting strategies, particularly in Castilla y León and Galicia. Only days after boasting of having the best system in the world, officials faced accusations of disorganization, understaffing, and lack of equipment as forests and villages burned. Firefighters and forest agents reported being overwhelmed, with many areas left to volunteer residents until reinforcements arrived. In Los Sacio, Zamora, the site of a deadly 2022 fire, no regional crews were present when flames threatened the village. It was saved only by local volunteers, a municipal team, and a shift in the wind. Nearby Abejera was not so fortunate, with the remains devastated. Similar accounts surfaced across León, Zamora and Palencia, where communities denounced chaos and delays. In Ourense, firefighters said exhaustion and staff shortages left them powerless, with teams forced to withdraw at critical moments due to shift limits. So some of the failures starting to come to light. A few weeks ago, the politicians in those parts of the country were saying we have sufficient resources, the best system in the world, and then all of a sudden that situation gets out of control and things turn to chaos, as we saw there, with insufficient resources on the ground in many parts of the northwestern part of Spain, and the western part of Spain not able to cope with the outbreaks that were occurring on basically a daily basis due to those very hot temperatures and strong winds. So that is what we're dealing with now, the fallout from this. And of course, as I said, it has become a political blame game, because the areas worst affected by the fires were or are areas that are controlled by the Partido Popular, Galicia, Castilla y León, and Extremadura, and the central government, of course, is the opposition party to those parties, the PSOE party, and now it becomes a political fight. And we'll continue with that theme, as we can see here in this article. Spain's wildfires fuel fierce national political row. The devastating wildfires that ravage parts of Spain are now largely under control, with residents returning to their homes. Yet the scorched landscapes have been followed by a fierce national political dispute between Spain's two main parties, the PSOE party and the PP party, which dominated August despite the crisis. Regional branches of both parties admit that statements from national leaders have hindered local efforts to manage the catastrophe and complicated political strategies in fire-hit territories such as Castilla y León, Galicia and Extremadura. Castilla y León, the most severely affected region and one heading into elections within months, has become the focal point of the political row. The controversy began when Transport Minister Oscar Puente mocked the fires on social media, quipping "things are heating up in Castilla y León," targeting regional President Alfonso Fernández Mañueco. 2 weeks later, PP's Elias Bendodo escalated tensions by labelling Spain's Civil Protection Director as a pyromaniac. So that is what we are dealing with here, the level of politicians that we have in this country, the people representing the majority of the population, of course. Absolute disgrace with some of the comments they come up with when people are suffering tragedies. It's all about the political game, of course, and trying to get those votes in the upcoming elections like the ones that we saw there in Castilla y León. And lots of people, of course, affected by these fires. And no doubt the fires will have some influence in the way they vote, or on the way they vote. So we'll see what happens when the elections come around. But that's what we are dealing with here, not only in Spain, unfortunately, but it seems to be a world problem. The lack of decent, the lack of qualified, the lack of capable politicians, if you like, when these disasters occur that only seem to be going after their own political gain. Third piece of news now, and there's a severe weather alert in Spain currently. Storm system to bring heavy rain, hail and strong winds to eastern Spain. A Dana, an isolated high-altitude depression, will hit eastern Spain on Sunday, bringing heavy rain, hail and strong winds. The regions of Aragon, Catalonia and Valencia will activate yellow weather warnings with forecasts of up to 30 litres of rainfall per square metre in 1 hour. According to the Spain's State Meteorological Agency, the AEMET, storms and strong gusts will also affect Navarra and parts of Soria. An Atlantic front linked to the remnants of Hurricane Erin is adding to atmospheric instability, increasing uncertainty about the storm's evolution. The system is expected to center near the Gulf of Cádiz, with significant impacts across the northeast and Balearic Islands. Morning downpours are likely along Catalonia's coast, with afternoon storms forecast in Navarra, northern Aragon, Catalonia, the western Cantabrian coast, the eastern Iberian range, and the Ebro Valley, the southeastern interior, are also expected to see severe showers. So from extreme heat temperatures and extreme fires in some parts of the country, we now head for storms. The famous Dana, the isolated high-altitude depression, which, as we know, can wreak havoc on parts of Spain when they hit. We've seen it in the past, and again, these Danas are going to be stirring up trouble, I think, for the next 2 or 3 months with the strange weather conditions that Spain has been experiencing over the last few months. That is. So if you're in a part of the country where those rains are forecast, be careful, because as we know, they can bring very heavy downpours indeed. So listen to the warnings that are put out. What was that? A yellow warning there for those areas, and they could go to orange very, very quickly. So stay safe and keep out of the way of those Danas if you can. And the final piece of news, and not good news, well, I'm not going to say not good news, but not the news that the tourism industry here in Spain expected, because apparently there has been a downturn, and the magical 100 million foreign tourists in Spain in 2025 might not come about. As we can read here, rising prices and Germany's slowdown puts Spain's 100 million tourist goal out of reach. Spain's hopes of welcoming 100 million foreign tourists in 2025 and overtaking France as the world's top destination are fading. The sharp rise in prices, particularly hotel rates, up 50% in the past 4.5 years, has curbed demand from international visitors this summer. Germany's economic slowdown has also weighed on travel. Despite this, Spain is still on course for another record year, both arrivals and spending, its third year in a row, although growth is more modest than in recent years. In the first half of 2025, foreign arrivals increased by 4.7%, compared with jumps of 18.8% in 2023 and 10.1% in 2024, following the post-pandemic surge of 130% in 2022. If current trends continue, Spain is expecting to close the year with around 98 million visitors, according to consultancy Brains Trust, just short of the symbolic milestone. So the symbolic milestone, as mentioned here, not going to happen this year, according to the consultancy Brains Trust. Can we trust Brains Trust? I don't know, but they've obviously done their homework. They've crunched the data, and apparently the numbers don't add up in 2025 to hit that 100 million mark and overtake France as the most popular tourist destination in the world. And of course help the Spanish economy keep on growing, which the government is living off the back of as well. The strong economy as a result of various factors, but tourism very important for the economic growth in Spain. So 98 million is the figure put on paper there by Brains Trust, and we'll see if that is indeed the case, or whether we get those extra 2 million people. Might be difficult because, as we saw there, the Germans are not coming as expected for whatever reasons, probably the German economic crisis or the economy there, and also the higher prices in Spain, where you don't get as much value for money as you used to do, and lots of people complaining about that. But anyway, we'll see if we get the 100 million tourists or not, or we're stuck at 98 again. Time will tell. Now let's look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. We'll look at this one here first from Jay. Have you been to Nazaré, Portugal yet, Stu? I spent 8 weeks there last summer and 2 weeks near Faro in the south of Portugal. Thanks, Jay. Yes, I have been to Nazaré in central Portugal on the coast there. A little bit overrated for my liking, I'm going to be honest. It's a very touristy type of town. Not only, probably more Portuguese tourism, I think, during the summer months, but very touristy town. And, of course, famous for the big waves that break there in the autumn, winter and spring months that attract big wave surfers from all around the world. But, of course, the rest of Nazaré, it's like a type of bay-type beach, I think, if I remember correctly, but very touristy, especially in the month of August. And if I can avoid those places in August, Jay, I normally do. So thanks for the comment. But yes, I have been to that part of Portugal. One here from Penrose. The reality is more people globally speak Portuguese than French, so along with the familiarity is this? I'll try and get that word out. Familiarity with the holiday industry, it's not surprising that Brits have moved towards Spanish. Difficult word for me, that one there. I'll see if I can get it going in my brain, but I don't think so. Thanks, Penrose, for the comment there. We saw this article the other day, or I highlighted this the other day, that many young people in the United Kingdom are now learning Spanish as part of their final years of high school or secondary school or whatever we call it. And overtaking French is the most popular foreign language in that country for students, and brought on by various reasons, I think. I think one was the obviously Spain being a very popular tourist destination for many, many British people, encouraging the learning of the language, and also the rise in pop culture that the Spanish language is having in places like the United States, primarily through obviously television, Netflix series and things like that, and also music, reggaeton. I suppose all of the young kids at the night spots around the world dancing away to the reggaeton and things like that. So that's one of the reasons, Spanish picking up. And yes, we'll see, as I said yesterday, if it means that people do become fluent or at least capable in other languages other than the English language, which has always been a problem for English speakers, myself included, for many, many years. Thanks for that. Thanks for the comment, Penrose. One here from Real Calgal. I join you in hoping fast food joints don't continue to proliferate. I have never eaten at Taco Bell or Burger King here in California, so I won't be trying them in Spain. We should always eat the local cuisine. In that vein, thank you for your continued food videos. They are great. Thanks, Real Calgal, coming in from California there, obviously. I also mentioned the the amount of Burger Kings and Taco Bells and McDonald's and all of these fast food restaurants that are popping up, especially on the outskirts of the big cities here in Spain, where I live, on the outskirts of Madrid. Everywhere you go now, it's all about fast food. KFC, the list goes on. The ones that I mentioned before also, and a few local brands as well, especially when it comes to hamburgers, because Spanish people seem to love hamburgers, and burger chains opening up all around the place, both local and international. And we are living with this nowadays. The traditional restaurants are being pushed out for the cheaper options, especially among the younger generations, because people can't afford the higher prices that you have to pay to go to a normal restaurant. 15 euros for a menu del dia, and you can probably get a burger at Burger King and a drink and fries included for 5 or 6. McDonald's a bit more expensive, especially if you go for the Mac menu, as they call it here, probably around $11.50 or something like that. But a lot of young people heading to the fast food places, hence the rise of that type of restaurant in around big cities, especially. Fortunately, in many cities in Spain, you don't see them all that often, especially in some of the regional capitals. But in the big cities, it's all about fast food nowadays. Another one here from Kev. The Spanish language is definitely becoming more popular as a school subject in the UK. My nephew and his 14 and 17-year-old daughters visited us recently. One is studying for GCE and the other for A-level. They did well at the local market in Alhama de Murcia, the eldest even noticing the heavy local accent. Thanks, Kev. There we go. A prime example here of the youth of the United Kingdom with their Spanish skills, going to places like Murcia and being able to distinguish the heavy accent from what they're learning in the classrooms, which is normally a more standard version of the Spanish language, or Castellano, as it is known. But visiting relatives, of course, and being able to put it into practice, because that's the most important thing, being able to put all of the things that you learn in the classroom into practice. No point learning a language in the UK if you're not going to come to Spain or a South American or Central American country or North American country, Mexico, to put it into practice. So good to see Kev's family there, visiting them in Spain and putting those language skills to good use at the markets down there in Murcia, where the accent can be quite heavy, I must say, especially when you get into the interior parts of Murcia, the heavy accent that people have in that part of the country. Thanks, Kev. One here from Billy. The money to fight the fires is going to come into Spain from tourism. Thanks, Billy. Yeah, well, it's going to come from somewhere. I don't know whether there's European resources to help with the fire recovery. I suppose that there is some money coming into Spain from Europe that could be put to that use. Or, Mr. Sanchez will have to rework. Well, he can't rework the budgets, can he? Because there hasn't been any budget updates in Spain for years now. So no fresh money can be pointed in that direction, I don't think. So he's going to have to pull it from somewhere, Mr. Sanchez, or the autonomous communities are going to have to get it from somewhere. But they might have some of that European money still on the books there that they can help with the recovery to all of the people that have lost property, all of the people that have had their lands burnt and things like that. Will get some type of compensation, no doubt. Thanks, Billy, for the question. But yeah, the tourism money could be put to that use as well. Don't know. Or the tax from the tourism industry, we should say. And the final one here from Roland. Hola, Stu. Best regards from sunny Marbella. No wildfires to see. I hope it stays that way. Thanks, Roland, for the comment. Good to see you coming in there from sunny Marbella. No wildfires down there. Lucky. I know the hills around the Malaga area have suffered in the past. Pretty bad fires, I think, in recent years in that part of Spain. Of course, if you're not familiar with the south of Spain, the Malaga area, you have the coastal plains, and then, of course, you have the mountain regions behind there. And as I said, fires around that part of Spain, not uncommon, but this year, fortunately, not the case, according to Roland down there in, as he said, sunny Marbella. Now I'm going to go into the live chat, check out what is happening there. Before I do, I need to change the backdrop picture. This photo was sent in by Stephen, who's been with family down there in the south of Spain, around the Estepona area for the last few months, heading back to the UK shortly, I believe. And Stephen took this snap when he was out and about of the area down there. So thanks a lot, Stephen, for that. A lovely day it is. Nice blue water, of course, blue skies, some greenery, and of course the typical Spanish coast where the buildings are very close to the water, as we can see here. But thanks, Stephen, for that. Now, if you've got a similar picture that you would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is on the screen there now, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your photos through to that email address, or any other information that you would like to send my way. spainspeaks@gmail.com is the email address. I'm also going to put the like icon on the screen too. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, we're currently at 67 likes. So do us a favor and hit that like button if you can. It's always appreciated, always appreciated. Now, I'm going to de-blur the background just a little bit here so we can still see the photo in the background, despite me being in the middle there. So, yeah, hit the like icon if you can. And anything you want to send my way, photos like the one that we have behind us here, whatever, spainspeaks@gmail.com. People that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's on the super thanks or super chat option here on YouTube, live streams, the super chat option is there. People that have bought me a coffee. Ian has bought me a coffee just before we started today. Patreon supporters as well, longer term supporters on the Patreon. And also the YouTube channel members, thank you very much for that support. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, why not? It's free. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and away you go. You'll get a little notification when I publish a new video, reminding you of it. So do us a favor. Now we're going to go into the live chat. Let's see what's bubbling away there. Let me scroll up to the top here. Not a lot going on in the chat, so we should get through this one quickly. Andrew, first person I can see. The fire situation in Galicia seems now under control, with several dozen people arrested for arson attacks. Why on earth do people do this? It's crazy and life-threatening. Thanks, Andrew. Good question. Why do people do that? That is the question, isn't it? Why do people light fires deliberately? Arsonists, as they are known. Why do they do it? To be honest, I've got no idea. They must get their kicks from that. Different stories, I suppose. Some people might have some mental health issues, as they say. I don't know. But it's never been something I've been interested in, setting fires deliberately. But obviously, some people do it to get their kicks. I don't know whether there's any economic advantage to doing it. I know that, sometimes when businesses get firebombed, there's an economic interest. But is there an economic interest of burning the hundreds of thousands of hectares in rural Spain? I don't know. I'm sure some people would suggest that, but I can't see it because it's not a part of the country where people want to live. So they're not going to be burning fires and burning down forests in order to put up luxury resorts. It's not going to happen. So why are people committing arson? No idea. If anyone knows or anyone has a better idea, let us know in the comment section. Barbara's in the chat here too, coming in from the Playa Flamenca. 30 degrees there today, quite humid. Thanks for that, Barbara. Good to see you. Valued member, of course, is Barbara. YouTubers saying here, Turkey bans all public entry to forested areas during the high-risk period of May to October to prevent wildfires caused by human negligence. Spain could learn from that as an option. Don't know, YouTubers, whether we need to get to that level of banning people from forested areas enjoying nature. in the summer months. Don't know if that's something that we need to follow, the Turkish example there, but maybe some politicians are thinking about it currently. I don't know. Janet is in the chat here too, valued member. Hello from Oxford, UK, where the weather will change on Tuesday. Much needed rain, but sad to see the heat and sunshine go, says Barbara there. Janet, sorry. Rain coming to that part of the UK on Tuesday. John's in the chat. Hola amigos, greetings from a very hot Zante, Greece. All the best for the week. Thanks, John. John's taking the kids out, or the grandkids out, for dinner. Going to catch up later. So a family holiday there in Greece. Sunny, hello everyone from a very warm Basingstoke. Happy bank holiday weekend. There we go. Bank holiday in the UK. One of the few bank holidays I think they get in the UK compared to Spain, where the public or bank holidays are quite generous. Ala's in the chat, coming in from San Diego, 25 degrees there, going to get to 31 this afternoon. Hope all is well in Spain. Thanks for that. Johnny's saying it's hot in Guadalajara. Damn hot, says Johnny. When does the show begin, says Johnny also there. Well, it's begun, Johnny. It's begun. Ian, we mentioned Ian before. I mentioned Ian before because of the coffee that Ian bought. Hopefully the fires are now subsiding, or at least under control. I've noticed the heat subsiding slightly these last couple of days. We've even had some storms. Thanks for that, Ian. Yes, the heat's subsiding. Thankfully, the heat is subsiding there. Not so much here. Johnny's in the chat here too, coming in from the Netherlands. Crisp there in the Netherlands. So Johnny travelling. Good to see you, Johnny. Alma is in the chat as well. Good evening, Stuart and everyone. Thanks for that, Alma. Good to see you in the chat. The Jazz Shed is here. Hola, everyone. Really sorry we can't be with you tonight, but we'll catch up later. Thanks for the news and food videos. Thanks for that. Catching up later. I'm saying only just received the program had started. There we go. Maybe didn't get the notification. Don't know. Renan is in the chat here too, coming in from a warm Los Angeles. Good to see you, Renan. Regina coming in from a cold and rainy Estonia. 10 degrees there. Flying next week to Malaga. Already dreaming of the sun. Yes, cold in Estonia, 10 degrees. Wowee. I can't remember what 10 degrees is like. But no doubt we will soon have that type of weather here too. Johnny's saying, could there be a third possibility to this fire blame game? Mother Nature can be a bit more powerful than any precautions we create. Maybe, Johnny, maybe Mother Nature there. Don't know, but a lot of arson involved, a lot of negligence involved as well, apparently. YouTube is coming in from a hot and humid Torrevieja. One more month and we'll finally see summer's backside. Yes, hopefully, because the summers get a bit, what's the word? A little bit overwhelming after a while. So many hot days on end. We love the summer when it comes around, but we're sick of it a month and a half in. Burton's in the chat here too, looking at coming to the south of Spain in January. Used to be guaranteed sunshine, not sure now. I think you're almost guaranteed sunshine in that time of the year, Burton. If you go to a place like Malaga, you could always go to the Canary Islands where you'll get sunshine almost for sure. Dusty, this channel is fake news. Never seen Spain so empty of tourists. Fake news, says Dusty. Fake news, this channel. Never seen Spain so empty of tourists. Thanks, Dusty, for your point of view there. Go write a newspaper, my man. Go write a newspaper. Leave me alone. Antonio coming in here. Hello, Stuart and everyone. 98 million people are a lot. But after all the protests against tourists, I don't know how anyone comes here. We have to be thankful to the people coming over here. Thanks, Antonio. Yes. But of course, as we know, there is that anti-tourism sentiment around the place, on the fringes, if you like. Bronny's in the chat. Currently sunny and feeling warm at 20 degrees in South Wales. Bank holiday Sunday. Enjoying the live stream. Thanks for the info. Best wishes, Bronny. Thanks for that, Bronny. Dave's in the chat here too. A former Madrid correspondent, currently living in Florida. Hola amigos, reporting in from a very wet west coast of Florida. Been a rainy weekend. Bad for the visitors coming for the beach. Yes, Dave, it is. World Cup tickets will be going on sale in a few weeks. Will you and the family be coming over for the games? Don't think so, Dave. Don't think we'll be coming over for any games in the World Cup. Don't think so. Don't think so. Billy, speaking for myself, I have not been in Spain this summer because of the intense heat. Maybe it's keeping some of the tourists away. Could be, Billy. Could be another reason. Don't know. We saw the reasons, I think, before that are that have been put out there. Higher costs and a weaker German economy. Kim, goodness, how on earth do the emergency services deal with that on any level? I sincerely hope they are not getting the blame for this. This happened with Grenfell, and the loss of life was terrible. Thanks, Kim. Well, the emergency services have had the fingers pointed at them, especially by the Partido Popular. Of course, it all becomes a political back and forth, as we know. It's all about getting votes, trying to get these things stuck in people's minds. And if you put enough mud out there, some of it will stick, as they say. And that's what happens. Yep. Kim also saying that it's not political football. Yeah, well, tell that to the politicians, Kim, because they're very good at political football, are the politicians. Hike Rangers heading back to Tenerife in 2 months for 10 weeks. Thanks for that, Hike Ranger. Enjoy that stay, 10 weeks. Christine's in the chat. Happy Sunday. All with the crazy news happening worldwide, we have to take time to take a breath and be thankful. Be well. Thanks, Christine, for that. Alma agrees with you there. Let's have a look at what we got going on here. Let's have a look. We were taught at the LA Police Academy that arson is a sexual issue with 95% of the time. There we go. What else we got going on here? Nova Scotia banning people from going into the woods, says Dave. So there we go. So it's happening there. Even silly as this, 72 degrees Fahrenheit in Chicago. Thanks for that. Stephen's coming in, value member from a cloudy but warm North London. Looking forward to a bit of sun, maybe tomorrow for the bank holiday in the UK, of course, the bank holiday. Joe coming in from Northern California, 86 degrees Fahrenheit there. Thunderstorms. Been lucky this year with fewer wildfires. Hope it continues that way, Joe. Bronny saying, Dusty, really? Yeah, was that the comment that we saw before from Dusty? Was it Dusty, the person's name that accused me of putting out fake news? Dusty doesn't realise that I just put out what the newspapers here in Spain put out. Nothing more than that, Dusty. I'm not one of these YouTubers that's making their own stuff up out there. Plenty of them around. Go and watch them if you're not happy, Dusty. We saw that one, sorry. Johnny saying fake. Are these fires fake? Strange. Must be something there. Thanks, Johnny, for that. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Colin saying Dusty's a bit rusty. Thanks for that. Dusty's a bit rusty. Coming in with the old fake news story. Never seen Spain so empty. Was that Dusty? Never seen Spain so empty. Larry coming in from Tazacorte in the Canary Islands. Good to see you, Larry. And Mick, the final person I can see in the chat today, off to Alicante next week. Probably one of the most underrated cities in Spain, in Mick's opinion. There we go. Hope you have a good trip, Mick. According to Dusty, there's no one around, so you should have it all to yourself. So go for it. What else we got going on here? Last one, Stephen. Anyone visiting Spain from the UK or anywhere should make an effort to get the basics of what they want to say across in Spanish. Excuse me. Yes, that would be the perfect scenario. But of course, if you're traveling to a lot of different countries, it's not easy. And I get the impression that people, might go to Greece, they might come to Spain, they might go to Portugal. You've got to get the basics of all of those languages. Can be difficult, I think. But I think you need to get the basics under control, especially if you're going to restaurants and things like that. Maybe not in some of the tourist areas where English is not so widely spoken. Bronny's learning Spanish, for example. There we go. Where in Spain did he go, says Renan. Not sure, Renan, where he went. And Alma saying that you might be right, Mick. Alma and her husband there love Alicante. So there we go. Now I'm going to wrap it up. That's the end of the live stream. It's been a pleasure. Back on Tuesday with another live stream. Hope to see you guys then with some more fake news. And have a great couple of days. Up until then, hasta luego, hasta entonces. Adios.